and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Turning downwind at 2 miles. Continue upwind and receiving pickup messages down. Okay, 750, I've got you in sight. We are on final approach. Thank you and enjoy your flight.
Alrighty. From the home studios of W7, we welcome you to the 2021-22 Basketball Reveal Show. I'm Ed Rowley, the voice of GTV. Tonight we will reveal 152 games that we have scheduled across our 3 W7 networks. And within those 152 games, we will live stream 117 different schools, including 42 new schools. Whether you're a family member who can't attend the games live, a team that watches after we live stream a broadcast, or you're brand new to W7, we welcome and thank you for your support, because without you, none of this is possible. With more about the matchups, this evening's agenda, I introduce Gary Whipperman, who's going to introduce our W7 family.
Thank you, Coach, and thanks for the warm intro, and to our assembled team here for being here tonight. Let's go around the horn here and make sure we get who's who in the zoo. First of all, welcome. It's sweet November. We finally made it, you guys. Woo! It's been a long wait, but we're here. So welcome, one and all. Don't worry about that screen going out. That happens all the time. So ignore that. It's not going on the live stream. So as you know, I'm Gary Whipperman, owner of W7. We'll tell you about W7 and who it is and what we are in case you don't know, in case it's your first time here. We never want to assume that everybody knows about W7, but we sure love if that does happen at some point. But you met Ed Rowley, the voice of GTV. I'd like to introduce Connor Du Bois. So Connor, tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you hail from and what do you do?
Hail from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I'm going to be taking the reins on the northern lights of W7.
Well, excited to expand our territory this year in the Fox Valley area significantly with Connor being on board. We'll talk all about that. And, of course, the partner on GTV, the one, the only, our very, very good friend, Ron Gavinsky. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. I'm looking forward to a great season again with Ed.
And the rookie to the team, we'll welcome him. Have we done any hazing yet? I don't think we've done any hazing yet. But
yes, we have. He's had to put up with us for the last hour.
Jonathan Sippis, former head coach of Wisconsin women's basketball, now W7 guest analyst this year. Coach, welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Well, I appreciate it. And as you know, W7 was a huge part of what we were doing in Madison. And, now I'm on a little different side of things. And but the one thing that we always share in common is we're both parents and love the idea to be able to highlight girls sports and be able to help push the agenda for girls basketball in the state of Wisconsin.
And Coach Sippis, this is more than just a token appearance. He's going to do a good number of games with us this year, probably more than what he thinks he's going to do when it's all said and done. But we are excited to have him aboard. And players, coaches, families, well, coaches already know this, but players and families, to bring somebody of Jonathan's caliber to our team really it's a huge win for us. He approached us and said, hey, I'd like to, help out and kind of give back and be around the game again this year, especially at the high school level. And it took me about a half a second to say yes. It may not have been that long. So the information he's going to bring, the experience he brings, his perspective, both from a high school level, also as far as what it takes to compete and to excel and to make it at the college level. I'm really excited for you to share that information with our viewers this year. They're going to get a lot out of it. So excited to have you on board.
Well, I'm excited to learn from experts that are here in this room. And obviously being the rookie, I hope people have patience with me. But I think the great part of this is giving access. I think that's what, girls basketball needs. And obviously you do it in different sports and softball and golf and volleyball. But I think we've had a great partnership and just looking to continue it in a different way.
Well, the experts couldn't make it tonight, so we're here in their place.
With that in mind, though, you may want to discuss and mention our intern who's not here and how schools and people, those watching, can become a part of that.
Definitely. So shout out to Sarah Nasif, who is our intern this year from Germantown. Sarah, a high school junior at Germantown High School this year, and she has been just a breath of fresh air to this program and what she's been able to come in and do, and both on air, in front of the camera, and behind the camera. I mean, she's been a huge asset to us, and she'll be tremendous for you guys on GTV this winter, covering Germantown girls basketball.
No doubt. And I think what you want to get into is how did Sarah become involved in that, and how can others become a part of that? Because she didn't just show up one day. She came over,
Right.
she welcomed her, she introduced herself, explained what she wants to do in the future and how she wanted to become a part of this family. And as you said, she's been a huge addition to us, and we get to reap the benefits, both G and I, with her being a part of our GTV crew.
So she actually approached us at the end of a softball game last year. She plays softball for Germantown, and she said, this is what I want to do as a career. I want to get into broadcasting. I want to get into production work. Is there an opportunity for me to work with you guys? And again, about half a second later, we said yes, definitely, and brought her on. And it's really that easy. It's finding us after a game, or it's emailing us, info@productionsw7.com, or instant messages. If email is like too old school, feel free to instant message us on social media. We don't have Snapchat, unfortunately, so that's just one area I'm just not going to go to. We've got all the other ones, so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, of course. So reach out to us, let us know. This could be for high school students, college students, even those beyond, looking for opportunities to get exposure. Again, we have over 10,000 followers on social media, so we can give you a pretty good platform to speak from and to showcase your work and your talent. And then really that's what we want to do. David Beasley, also an intern for us this year, did some fantastic photography work for us. And in fact, we used all of his photos in our end of season video for Germantown girls volleyball. And I can tell you, Coach Wagner told me that she's watched it about 15 times. He did just tremendous work. So it doesn't have to be broadcasting. Maybe you want to be in photojournalism. Maybe you want to be a writer. Maybe you want to be, an agent. Maybe you want to be a camera operator or doing production or social media. There's a lot of different ways you can plug in with us, and we can get you started and let you get off and running and showcase your skills. So let us know, info@productionsw7.com, or any of the social media platforms. Hit us up, and we'll be happy to talk with you about that. So with that said, let's get started. I'm going to change our window here so you guys can see what I see.
Gary, while you're doing that real quick, we got Coach D'Amato from Grafton checking in on the comments on the YouTube. So
Matt, a big follower of ours, and he's ready. Coach D'Amato is ready to go, man. He's waiting. He is waiting. He's been waiting. Coach, let me tell you one thing. It's going to be worth the wait. I promise you. So before we get into it, I know I'm teasing you guys a lot here, but there are some things I just want to cover before we get into the meat of the actual schedule. I don't want to assume, again, everybody knows about W7 and who we are, so let me just introduce that a little bit. I'll try to keep it brief, and then we'll go from there. So we were founded December 1st, 2017. Our website, www.productionsw7.com. I started the company. It was really, a company's probably a strong word for it, but the program, it was really a case of my daughter played high school basketball, and we'd go to games and there'd be nobody there. I mean, and we knew she practiced her tail off, her teammates worked hard, and she wasn't a superstar player. She was the third or fourth kid off the bench and didn't get a lot of playing time. But, I said to my wife, I said, we've got to do something to promote girls sports better than this, because they just work too hard. Well, this was probably 15 years ago, and then the internet kind of grew up and live streaming kind of became a thing, and I was actually live streaming a youth football game once, and we, just for fun, I just started calling the game along with it, and the next day I got a call from the AD at New Berlin Eisenhower. Said, hey, I heard you were live streaming high school games. Can you come and do one of ours? And I said, well, I was just kind of goofing around. But we went, and he said, hey, we have a girls' basketball game tonight. Would you be interested in doing it? And I said, sure. And it took me about 8 seconds, and I was hooked. So since then, we've grown steadily. Over the years, this is now our 4th year of live streaming high school girls' basketball. And we get bigger every year, but at the end of the day, it's still one event at a time. It's still one player at a time. And, we're really still just about for the girls. Everything we do, it's really about the girls. It's about their experience, giving them as much as we can a true game day type experience in what we can offer. So that's really who we are and what we're about. Again, our mission, promote Wisconsin high school girls athletics. And it really is a state area thing. So we've been all over the state the last 4 years doing this. And again, we love it. I'd say we're primarily Milwaukee, Madison, Fox Valley area, but we've been to other places. We've been to Mosinee. We did a trip over to Iowa once. We've kind of been all over the place. So, we're always up for a road trip, right, Connor?
Houghton, Michigan.
We were in Houghton, Michigan last weekend with UW Oshkosh, and I think Coach G has got a bone to pick with Connor before we get into this a little bit. But
I do. Before the big game up on the UP, somebody said that the score was going to be 74-46.
That's correct.
And I took Oshkosh with the points, and I lost my pants.
That's correct, unfortunately.
Are you going to pay me back ever now?
Negative.
I would not hold my breath on that.
When I get that paycheck from Gary for W7, I will forward it.
Send it right over.
Excellent.
And speaking of which, our funding comes from donations, sponsorships, game video sales, and documentaries. I mean, that's really how we raise funds. I get asked all the time, how do you pay for this? And it's definitely not a money making operation. I mean, I always say if we ever get to the point where we can break even, I'd be super excited about that. But that's where our funding comes from. And then sponsorships, we've really just kind of started this last year in getting some sponsorships put together. We're going to talk about those in just a minute. You can become a W7 sponsor very easily. Go to our website, productionsw7.com/sponsorships. Check it out. It's really easy. And if you don't want to work through that process there, again, just email me, info@productionsw7.com, or on social media, and I'll be happy to talk with you about how you can help support what we do. And again, we mentioned this already. If you want to join us, info@productionsw7.com. Let us know. We'd love to have you be part of what we're doing. Well, first of all, I wanted to say we're very, very excited that we've got a title sponsor for girls basketball this year. It is our good friends at Jolly Good Soda. That's jollygoodssoda.com. You'll notice right now, as of right now, there is no soda on this table whatsoever, on either of these tables. And there's a reason for that. Our friends at Jolly Good are in the middle of shipping us some products, so we will have Jolly Good Soda on hand throughout the season this year, and we'll be showing that early and often. So we are super excited to have Jolly Good as part of our team this year, and I can tell you we will have the Jolly Good pregame show, the Jolly Good halftime show, and the Jolly Good player of the game. I mean, I told Nicole Depius, who is the marketing officer at Jolly Good, they're really a perfect fit for us. I mean, it's a great marriage. They like to have fun. They want to make it all about having fun. They asked if we were going to do shoe of the game this year because they loved that part of it. And so, they really get what we are and we get who they are. They're based in Random Lake, Wisconsin. They're a local soda company, and Emily DeMaster from Oostburg got me turned on to it, and I'll tell you what, I love it. I love their soda. It's really good. And Ed knows I'm a soda connoisseur. Sam, supporting them supports us. So we'll have more about that. I can tell you that we are working on getting some Jolly Good t-shirts for our players of the game this year. They're working on that with us, and all kinds of fun things. So that's for our girls basketball season. You can find them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then also for GTV this year, a big, huge thanks to JVB Financial Advisor. Jay and the team are going to support us this year for GTV. Coach, talk about what that means for you guys and for the Germantown community.
Well, it's first of all, it's going to get Jay's name out there, and which is the whole point behind it. But at the same time, what it's going to do for us is it gives us, we got some sponsors. We can have some fun with it. You listen to quote unquote professionals, and they always have that, the insurance. We're going to plug them often.
Yes.
We're going to keep dropping them in there because we can make it a part of what we're doing. It's just something to add to the live stream that we just enjoy. Just a little small thing that we can add to what we bring to everybody else, and you're going to hear it often. JVB, early and often.
Yep, and Jay is a fun guy, and he'll come on and do a couple halftimes with you. I'm trying to talk him into coming to doing a game with you guys as well. I mean, he's a funny guy. So look for that for GTV, and again, big thanks to Jay, and also big thanks to Jolly Good Soda. I should also mention tonight's broadcast is it's the Ultimate Team Camps preseason. Ultimate Team Camps girls basketball schedule reveal show. I'll spit it out here one of these times. Let me bring those guys up also, and we'll come back to this because I want to talk about Matt Bullis and Brad Duckworth, who run Ultimate Team Camps, and what they're really all about. So if you guys remember playing basketball in high school, for us that's a long, long time ago. But do you remember every summer you'd go to you'd go to individual camps, or you'd play. We didn't have AAU back then, but you'd go to individual camps, and then you'd go to a team camp as a group. Your high school team would get in a bus together, or a series of vehicles together, and go stay in the dorm somewhere overnight for a couple nights, and just have that opportunity to get back together as a team during the summer, which, to me, we did that. We went to Fremont, Nebraska. That was the greatest. I look forward to that every single year, that team camp event. And that's what Ultimate Team Camps does. They have camps open both to varsity and JV. And again, it's really about, it's about the team camp. It's not individual camp. It's for the teams. For varsity and JV teams, you get to play 9 games. You get to play in a situational tournament. They have 3 to 4 speakers. I mean, it's a big deal. Team building activities. It's really, again, all about coaches getting your team, kind of rejuvenated for summer and getting back together again before the season starts. I mean, Coach, I'm sure you did things like this at the college level. I mean, how important is it for teams to get back together, even during the off season?
Well, I think in the summer of 2020, when you had teams playing a variety amount of games across the state, some teams, I know in the Madison area, the Madison City Schools couldn't play any games during the year. So it's that first time that group for that season really gets a chance. The upperclassmen get to help bring, the underclassmen through. There's great bonding activities. Obviously, you want to have a chance to play. And again, it's always, I think, if you can get some momentum in your team camp in the summertime and have that opportunity to play some different teams that maybe you don't see during the regular season, really jumpstart you for that fall when you get going with preseason practice.
The camps are held at UW Stevens Point. They get 2 nights, and by the way, unlike when I went to school, it's an air-conditioned residence hall. I mean, we were bringing box fans in. It was something else. You get 5 meals during the event, and again, air-conditioned residence hall. They take care of parking, and again, it sounds like big deal, but you go to some of these larger cities in these camps, I mean, you're paying $15, $20, $25 a night in parking, so don't have to worry about that. They have 2 sessions. Now, I will tell you, and I hate to sound like the sales guy here, but I kind of am. I talked to Coach Bullis today, and he said we've got very, very few spots left for both of these camps. So I would encourage you guys that if you're looking at doing this, get on it right away and talk to these guys. Go to their website, ultimateteamcamps.com. 24 teams for June 26th to the 28th, 28 teams for June 28th to the 30th. So 2 different sessions. And again, here's the part I really like, and you guys probably could back me on this. When you go to these camps, no fans allowed. So you don't have, that parent, and everybody knows who that parent is. I'm not going to say it, but everybody knows who that is. That's, yelling at their kid, trying to tell them to do this and do that. The parents, no fans are allowed at these events. It's really just for the teams, which to me, it provides a really safe space for the players to, number 1, be themselves, number 2, not to look over their shoulder, and number 3, really bond with their teammates and coaches. So really encourage you to check those guys out, ultimateteamcamps.com. Matt Bullis and Brad Duckworth are the co-owners of that team, of that camp. And again, they do just fantastic work. I know Tosa East has been up there. I know Brook Central's been up there. Arrowhead's been there. So, I mean, it's the best of the best. So join in with those guys. And again, thank them for sponsoring our girls basketball schedule reveal show tonight. So last thing I want to get to before, I know I keep saying the last thing, but there's always one more thing. We're going to go to a lot of places this year. And number 1, we love doing that. So we love going to the schools and love just coming in the gym and just being part of your game night experience. But we're going to ask for some things of you guys, of the teams. Number 1, every Sunday night, we're going to send an email out to coaches and the home athletic director with our upcoming schedule. So you're going to see that every Sunday night. So if we're going to your place this next week, you'll get an email Sunday night reminding you. We really, coaches, I hate to put more on you guys because I know how much you guys already do, but we're going to need to ask one thing of you this year. We need you to supply us 1 volunteer for a varsity game to assist with camera duties. It's super simple. It's not technical. If you can, if your kids are familiar with an iPhone, they'll be just fine doing this. It's about 90 minutes of time, but it makes all the difference, and it really is a requirement for us to be able to do what we do. So if if you find out if we're on your schedule for a game and you say, hey, I cannot get somebody to do it, let me know so we can make other plans, because I don't want to get there and not have that resource that we need and let your kids down or let another school down that we could have went and saw had we known. So let us know. It could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be a JV player, it could be an assistant coach, it could be a trainer. I mean, it could. We've had middle school kids do it. I mean, again, it's very, very non-technical. It's really just a body that can run a camera and just follow the ball back and forth. I mean, that's really all there is to it. No buttons to press, no start, stop, rewind, focus. We take care of all that stuff. They just need to swivel the camera back and forth. So make sure that you have that available for us. And I'd love to get an email from you saying, hey, we know the requirements. We got somebody lined up for you. That way I don't have to run it down when we get there, because as you guys know, we come right from work. We all have real jobs. We come right from work to these events, and the sooner we can get started setting up, the better. So appreciate your guys' help there. And also the last thing, we do have a player info sheet on our website at productionsw7.com/your event. Fill that out and send it to us with information about your players. I mean, we try to know as much as we can about the kids, but they're your kids. So let us know. Have a parent take charge of that. Assign it to a crazy team mom. And by the way, if you think that your team doesn't have a crazy team mom, guess what? You're it. So have that team mom do it. Michelle Rangard, I'm talking to you at KM. Michelle's a great example. I mean, she loves doing all this kind of behind the scenes stuff to help support the team. Every team has one of those, at least one. So find that person, have her or him be in charge of, hey, go get this information so you can just focus on practice and getting ready for that week's game. Michelle's going to get mad at me because I picked on her, but that's all right. So that's really just some things about coming to your place. Now, I got to fast forward through this stuff. Here we go. Our theme this year, and Ed was giving me a hard time about this. Top Gun is our theme this year. I'll explain why. First of all, we thought Top Gun 2 was going to come out November 19th, which coincided right with the beginning of our season, so we wanted to kind of tie in with that. Most of you know I'm a big 80s dude, so I like to weave that stuff into our broadcast. I always tell the kids, hey, we'll put your highlights up, we'll talk about you, but you got to put up with my music taste. So that's kind of the way that it's a trade-off. But we do have W7 Top Gun t-shirts coming out this year, so you'll want to check that out. We're going to do over 150 regular season girls basketball games. I mean, that's a crazy number. Last year we did 126. The year before that was 71. The year before that was 27. So I don't think we can keep growing at that rate, but we're thrilled to be able to do this much girls basketball this year. We're going to cover 117 teams. That means over 1,400 players are going to get an opportunity to be a part of a W7 game day experience. And for us, that's really what this whole thing is all about. So again, super excited about that. 42 teams get their first ever live stream on W7, which is phenomenal. That we've never had that many new ones since we started. So a lot of new teams. Our closest game is less than a mile. It's about 3 blocks, right?
It's a couple blocks, yeah.
It's 3 blocks from Coach Rowie's house to Wauwatosa West, which is our closest game this year. Our furthest is 149 miles, which is up in, where is that, Connor? Did we say?
I think that one is going to be at
Rhinelander, I believe. Lakeland at Rhinelander. So that'll be a haul up there. We'll get into that a little more later. And this year, we have 3 full-time rigs going. So I'll run one. Ed Rowie will run one for GTV and probably a couple other games. And then Connor will run one for W7 Northern Lights, which is the Fox Valley area. So almost every Tuesday and Friday, you'll see 3 games on W7. So, and they're all going to be on YouTube, same as last year. So they're all in one place, easy to find, that type of thing. So it's going to be nuts this year. I mean, that's a lot of basketball. We're always looking for guest analysts, so maybe not always, but we're kind of starting to fill that up a little bit. But we're always interested if you guys if coaches, players, media, if you guys are interested in joining us for a game, let me know. Look at our schedule and say, hey, I'd love to be able to come and do this game with you guys. We love it when players come. They're the current players, even alumni come back and say, hey, I'd love to cover my high school team. We love that because you guys can give so much insight into the team that we would never know. And probably nobody knows except for you guys. So we're always interested when the kids want to come back and do a game with us. So let us know if that's something that interests you. We'd love to have it. Our girls basketball day is coming up. It is Sunday, December 12th. Let me put a plug in just for this. So for $20, you get a game ticket and you get a W7 Top Gun limited edition t-shirt. Limited edition. That means that we're only going to print them 1 year. They're not going to be around every year. It's limited. So it's this year and this year only. And you see it on the screen right here. $20 gets you a game ticket and that t-shirt. And let me say why it's important for 2 reasons. One is it's on a Sunday, so you don't have to worry about conflicting games. It's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Packers play at 7:30. Relax. So you could still make the Packer game, for God's sake. We tried that last year. It was a disaster, or 2 years ago. So we're not going to do that. So the game's at 2 o'clock. They're also playing UW Green Bay. So it's 2 in-state Division I programs. So if you want to see Jasmine Kudrakowicz, if you want to see Maddie Schreiber, if you want to see Sydney Hilliard, you want to see Natalie Leisinger, I mean, they're all going to be there. So you'll get to see a lot of great Wisconsin kids playing basketball. Tara Stoffaker, she'll be there as well. So that's another good reason. The third reason is it's really one of our only 2 fundraisers. We only do 2. One is this event, and then the other is our homeschool contest. So it really, truly helps us. I would love to be able to tell Madison that we've got a large group coming this year. So we're a little slow getting started here. We've been publishing it for about 3 weeks now. The game is December 12th. We're asking if you can get us registrations at least a week ahead of time so we can coordinate and make sure that you got everything you need to be able to go. Let us know. Get the tickets through us because we can apply it towards this fundraiser. Then, and also, any tickets that you purchase will count towards the W7 Homeschool contest next year. So, again, a lot of wins there, and it's a great opportunity for us. Let us know if you have questions, info@productionsw7.com, or check out our website as well. Okay. Is that it? Have we covered everything?
I think we're done.
We ready to go?
That wraps everything up.
Yeah, we're all done.
That does it. Hey, we're going to take a quick 30-second break. I got to catch my breath. We'll come back and we'll get started. We've got the season opener ready to go. You're watching the Ultimate Team Camps Girls Basketball Schedule Reveal Show on W7.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt.
Turning downwind at 2 miles. Continue upwind and receiving 6 miles past down. Okay, 750, I've got you in sight. We are on final approach.
Thank you and enjoy your flight.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Ultimate Team Camps Girls Basketball W7's Girls Basketball Schedule Reveal Show. We are ready to start talking basketball and about where we're going to be this year. So let's get into it. Here we go. Our season opener is November 16th. And we got a great big tip-off week to start. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 games our first week. So, Coach, right into the fire, day one, Randolph Marshall. You and I will be in Marshall to cover the new look Marshall Cardinals. No Anna Lutz, no Laura Nickel. It's a new group, and Coach Pickerts will have those guys ready to go, I'm sure.
Yeah, no question. Obviously, Coach Pickers has done this for a long time, took over, that group when they were sophomores, and now they've graduated. And that's the great thing about high school sports is it is that next time for somebody to step up. And obviously early on in the regular season, you're trying to see whether it's through team camp or preseason, fall league, things like that, how your team's starting to come together. And I think one thing with Coach Pickert's, he always starts out strong. 2 years ago, they started out in the tournament, at Beaver Dam right away, playing Beaver Dam and Germantown in games. So, again, challenging right at the beginning to be able to play. And again, I'm excited to be able to have some familiarity watching the Marshall program through the last 4 years.
Well, we got to see Randolph in the sectional finals last year in Division IV, and every player is back from last year. So I would say, Coach, you know them better than anybody. I would say that you got to look at this Randolph team as a potential, state tournament team this year.
I absolutely would. Kind of watch. They came out and they actually jumped all over Michigan. They were up like 12-2 in the early going of it, and then Michigan just kind of imposed their will the last 3 quarters of the game. But yeah, I would think Randolph ready to go. I know they have a real tough non-conference schedule this year. I would pick them. They can return back to Division 5. Last year they got moved up to Division 4.
Yes.
Typically they've been in Division 5 and they've run into Blackhawk. And then the one year they get moved out of Division 5, they run into virtually, another kind of powerhouse in Michigan. So be interested to see them return back to Division 5 and see what they can do in their half of the sectional.
Well, and at the same time, you'll be in Appleton for Wisconsin Rapids and Appleton East. You'll get to see Lily Hansford and Emily LaChapelle kick off their senior seasons. Logan Lowry, the whole crew up there. That Appleton East team's going to be solid this year.
They're very solid, and doing some prep for that game because that's now about a week and a half away here. And I was looking at it and I was surprised. Their top returners all were above 37% from three. They've got 6 kids on the team that were 37% or higher from the 3-point line. And we're not talking about they shot 12 threes on the year. They're 60, 70, 80 attempts. And I know they like to get up and down from watching some games last year in Rapids. They return. They also returned 4 out of their 6 starters from last year. So be interesting to see as they look to challenge themselves. They've got some Kimberly after they play Appleton East. They go and play Kimberly and they play Beaver Dam. So that's, if you want to find out where you're at this year, that's a good start. Yeah, for sure. Wednesday we'll be at Grafton for University School Milwaukee versus Grafton. Coach D'Amato coming to see you, and that Grafton team, Savannah James and Sarah. Help me, Coach. What's her name? Sarah. It's not Androkonopoulos. It's something. We went through this last year. Right?
Oh, you're no. No.
Alakanophagus. It's Sarah. You know who we're talking about.
Forgot about that one.
Friday night, Coach, you'll be in Oak Creek to see Oak Creek Arrowhead. So, Coach G, thoughts on going to the Creek and see 2 really, really good coaches and 2 good programs.
They are both very good programs and very good coaches. For sure, Oak Creek's coach, Coach
Lucknick,
thank you. He's a Hall of Fame coach, and in my opinion, he's one of the top 3 or 4 coaches, and you can argue that. They have
I wouldn't argue that.
People might, and they've got a couple really good players that are coming back.
Paulina Hernandez will be back.
And the softball player.
Riley is not going to play basketball this year. No, Riley is going to focus on softball this year.
They were a factory.
That's Riley Grunzelonic. So her mom texted me a couple weeks ago and let me know that she wasn't coming back this year. But she wants to come. She wants to come and do broadcast with you guys though. So she'll be joining you Friday night at the Creek.
Perfect.
Her or Rodriguez.
Yeah. Ange did a couple too. So no Rye this year. But Paulina will be back.
In Arrowhead, Harper is a beast. I mean that in a very positive.
Yeah, Elena. Yep.
Last year when we saw them play Germantown and DS, they play a 2-3 extended zone, and Harper sits in the middle and says, "Come to me, because you ain't get into the basket." I think Sam's is that the
Bella Sam's,
Bella
the
Sam's,
big fish.
Yeah, he can shoot the eyes out of the hoop. So they're going to have a really good. That is a phenomenal first game.
Yes. Well, they're both those teams. They never shy away from competition. So you guys will be there. Coach, you'll be at Freedom for Seymour and Freedom. And Coach, you and I are going to be in Watertown for Reedsburg, Watertown. To me, that's a very interesting matchup. I mean, your thoughts about that one?
Yeah, I think you see a Reedsburg team that's really well coached, and to be honest, has had to be in that Beaver Dam shadow for the last 4 or 5 years. Is this the time now, obviously, with Maddie Wilkie going to Madison? Obviously, Beaver Dam's still going to be very good with Gabby Wilkie, and obviously, Tim is one of the best coaches in the state. But I'm excited about it because you have two teams that are jockeying. Reedsburg's had a little bit more success, but it's a game at Watertown, obviously trying to set the tone early in the year. Old school Badger Conference foes,
yes.
Going right at each other, on the kickoff game for them at the beginning, on that Friday night. So I'm really excited to see that environment and two teams trying to take a next step in that level.
Well, if Stolberg gets away, the final score will be 19-17.
Even I will be campaigning for the shot clock even harder then.
Hey, congratulations, by the way, Mara Weeman from Reedsburg. Her Beavers got to the state finals in volleyball this year, lost to a really, really good Luxembourg Casco team for their third straight state championship. But Mara, congrats on getting to the state finals. And knowing the Weeman kids as I do, they got the silver ball last year in basketball. I think their aim is a little bit higher this year. Knowing Trina Cherney as I do, those guys are going to be ready to go. So we are excited to see Reedsburg. We'll see them a couple times this year. So excited for that as well. Let's move on. Saturday, a doubleheader on Saturday. Again, this is just the first week. I mean, we're talking about the first week for Spectrum, their entire season. Week one.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Oostburg at Slinger. Again, should be a phenomenal game with really good teams. Coach, you're familiar with Oostburg. I mean, what should we expect out of the Lady Dutch this year, do you think?
Well, I mean, they lose a lot.
They do. Ella Tempest is gone.
And they may not lose it necessarily in terms of points and rebounds and production and all that stuff, but that senior class last year brought a ton of leadership.
Emily DeMaster
and Tempest.
Kelsey Dolmas.
Yeah, but they're going to bring back Turnus and a few other players that they will.
Voskill will be back. Alex Voskill will be back.
They will do just fine in the Big East South this year. And I expect them to probably tip the scales maybe this year against Michigan, if anybody from there is watching.
Ooh, shots fired.
So we'll see.
Oh, burn.
But, I think the scales are going to get evened out a little bit more this year, just with the loss of across the conference. And I think this is probably the best year that Oostburg has to get on top of both Howard's Grove and Michigan in those crossover games.
Well, and for Slinger, Coach Dobson coming back again this year, lined up for a really nice year. Now, they did lose Kate Hosking and Ramsey McGrew, but had Mallory Hoytink back and also Sam Geller. Unfortunately, Sam tore her ACL. She's going to be out for the entire season. She's a senior this year. Thoughts to her and her family. Sam is a great buddy of ours, and just it's a tough loss for Slinger. They do get Zabel back, Callie Zabel back in. So she'll be back playing this year from recovering from an ACL injury. And also Casey Ott will be a senior. So, again, I think in the North Shore, they're going to be very, very competitive. Again, it should be a fun opening game at Slinger. And then, Connor, your first look at Notre Dame as Pewaukee takes on Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a revamped Notre Dame squad in terms of who they're going to. You're going to lose conference player of the year last year and Samuel Pitchka, who went out to St. Thomas. But Gracie Gresh, freshman last year.
Yes.
She was in the top 2 or 3 in scoring for them. So sophomore this year, obviously going to take on a much bigger role. Sarah Hardwick as well. Coach Rhodey, she's going to have them playing hard, pressure and full court defense, man to man, and that's going to get you a lot of wins, especially up there in the FRCC. And I really like this contest early on in the year, right out the gate with Pewaukee. And actually, Notre Dame comes into this year with the longest winning streak at 26 games. Michigan at 19 and Germantown with 16. So those are the 3 longest streaks, and hopefully they'll be able to keep them alive here.
So that's week 1. Before we take a break, I want to talk about GTV. Coach, I'm going to turn this over to you to talk about GTV with you and Coach G this year, and what people can expect to see from the from GTV on W7.
Well, right out of the gate, as we were talking about, they come out. They've got 3 tough non-conference games right out of the gate. G, go ahead.
Yeah, they hit the first one is the Pier, and the second one is Hortonville, third one is Pewaukee. The Pier has the 3rd overall rated player in the state of Wisconsin in Jordan Mulemans. Is that how you say it?
I believe it is Mulemans, I believe, yes. Mulemans.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be 2 of the best players in the state against each other. And I hate to say that you're going to say KK versus Jordan, but
It's KK versus Jordan.
That's what people are going to come. And then in the Hortonville game, I think Hortonville, even though they're in that crazy sectional, they're one of the teams that could win it all.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have the 2 sisters, the Poplar girls.
Oh, yep.
And then they have Johnson, who's Johnson's going to Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, Lyric Johnson.
Right.
And Maggie Warner also a senior there.
And then the Cam Poplar is playing at UW.
Yeah, Cammie, the dime princess,
Right.
Cammie Pepler.
And then her sister is one of the best sophomores in the state. Then Pewaukee. You got Sarah Newcomer,
Yep.
who's going to Northern Michigan.
That's quite the little pipeline Northern Michigan's got going around here.
Well, that, and let's go back. You were just talking about Notre Dame. I mean, Pewaukee comes out of the gate. They're going Germantown and Notre Dame. They're not.
Well, their first
Coach
4
Reuter's not going with any
their
patsies
first
either.
4 games are tough.
Yeah.
I didn't put those down, but their first 4 non-conference games are. He's going to know what he needs to do to get deep in the tournament.
Well, Pewaukee also, remember, they got the Terrian girls are both freshmen this year, and I'll be very interested to see, how that dynamic works for those 2 freshmen coming in. Those redheads are going to set the court on fire.
And I don't know what you guys think about Brooklyn Wayer. She's at Pewaukee,
Not familiar with her.
but she's going to Lakeland University to play, which is a
Wow.
D3 school.
What grade is she?
I can't tell you that off the top right now, Coach. That's what I have in my notes about her. But I mean, those first 3 games for Germantown
They're going to be tough. But Coach Stuvey entering his 14th year, I believe. He's got 222 wins behind him. This is not somebody that hasn't done this before. He lost 8 seniors. I don't know if that's ever happened, but we do know the one thing that is for certain is he's never had a follow-up season after winning a state championship. How does a team like Germantown recover after you lose 8 seniors? But you have that gold ball in the trophy case. What are they going to do early on? What can they do?
Well, as you and I were talking when we came out here, he has to replace 3 starters. I think, knowing Coach Stuvey, he prepares the younger kids as well as the older kids. I mean, he plays 10, 11 kids every game. He's just got to find the kids that can fit the roles that they need. McNeil, I think, is going to be a big key for him this year. To find the other 2 starters, it could be anybody.
To me, it's honestly, it's about Emily Wisner this year. It's about the season Emily Wisner has this year because, KK is great. I mean, there's no argument there, but KK needs a running mate. It was Jalen Acker this year. So Wiz needs to have a big year this year to keep some of the pressure off KK and for Germantown to keep that kind of scoring pace that they have. It's really about Wiz having the year that she's going to need to have for this team to be as successful as they were last year.
And
My opinion.
I would agree with that because we said that.
I would say the other thing, I think, Ed, you bring a great point up, is they're going to get everybody's best shot.
Absolutely.
And when you're the state champion, as much success as Coach Stuvey has had, that is a new role. And I think when you look at that and you challenge yourself early, you're going to always balance that confidence. Is if they lose one of these early, that doesn't take them away from what their ultimate
Absolutely
goal
not,
is.
no.
But, that's the first thing any coach that's playing against them is going to write up on the board, is that opportunity to get their own team season started by beating somebody who's a state champion.
Right. You can hang your hat on that. You get a win like that over Germantown, and you're beating a 5-star player who is good. I mean, KK's as good as it gets. We all know that.
No doubt.
And the state's very aware of that. She's the Gatorade Player of the Year as a sophomore.
Right.
So to your point, I think everybody's going to give their best because they want to show, hey, we can play with this group. You get a win like that early. It's the key to their season is getting out to a good start, but I think obviously it's going to be that finish, and I think this tough non-conference schedule will prepare them. They'll be ready to go for the GMC. I don't think there's any doubt as they go for number 4 in a row.
Number 4 in the conference, which would be a record for the conference. The other thing is, as I said to Ed when we were driving out here, is how are teams going to play KK? I think teams are going to zone Germantown up. So what Gary's saying about the whiz kid, KK's going to need somebody to score from the outside with her. And if they can do that, it'll be tough for teams to zone them up all the time.
And that's what starts all tomorrow. I can tell you right now, Coach Stuvey's got something in place ready to go for tomorrow, and he's going to find out real quick.
Right.
Because it's go time, and I think they're anxious for this. I think they're excited to be the defending champs, obviously, and to show everybody who they are, that, yes, they lost those players. I mean, to lose the big – I don't want to say the big 3, but of the 8 that they lost, to lose a Jalen Acker, a Natalie Paulskill, a Katie Pompu, those players were instrumental to what they did.
Yeah.
People forget the year before last year, McNeil.
Natalie McNeil.
Right.
Player of the year 2 years or 3 years in a row in the GMC. She went on to St. Louis. But, I mean, if you the other games that they have non-conference, lacrosse, Aquinas.
Yeah, there's a kid over there that's pretty good. Macy.
There's 2 kids that were.
Macy's pretty good.
Yeah, that were all-state first-team players that are back. You got Reedsburg, who's got everybody.
Reedsburg is going to be strong.
They're going to be really good. Then Kettering Lutheran is going to be
Always
down,
a strong
but
program.
but
Always
he's
strong.
Right, I was going to say he's a very good coach.
Yeah, Jason does a nice job over there.
Oak Creek.
Enough said.
And Arrowhead.
Enough said.
So credit to Coach Stuvey. I mean, he does it right. He challenges these kids, and in and out of the conference, he is going to make sure that come the end of the season, they are ready to go.
I think when you have all these new pieces, why not figure out where you're at in November and December before it gets to the time when you're actually playing for the gold ball and going home? And I think the part that gets lost a lot of times is these kids that are going to fill these roles for an entire year, they've been practicing against state champions. You know, they've been the practice squad. So they're going up. They've already gone up against the best team from last year in Division I. Now they're hungry. They're looking to fill. And we want to be the best team this year, and we know what it takes.
And that's what GTV is going to be. Coach Gavinsky and I will be bringing it to you. We're excited about it. We got Sarah with us this year. Right. If you saw her during volleyball when we did that for GTV.
Killed it.
We're excited. We are anxious for this. We get to see this great basketball up close and personal all year, and we are excited for it. For a second year in a row.
We get to see.
We got JVB sponsoring us. We're ready to go. We are anxious, just as I'm sure the players tonight are not going to sleep real well.
I bet not. Well, every Germantown game on W7 this year, with the exception of one that is February 1st at DSHA, we will not be able to bring you that game, but every other one, and my guess would be we'll figure something out for postseason as well. We'll be with Germantown as we have been the last 2 years. So excited to kick off another season of GTV starting at the end of November. So that takes us through GTV. One more point I want to just bring up, and then we're going to take a break and come back with W7 Northern Lights. What does the Fox say? We'll talk about that in a minute. Is our homeschool contest. Now, we've talked about this before. Each year we do a annual homeschool contest. What that means is we have a contest that runs from April 1st of 2021 through March 31st of 2022. Anytime you make a donation, anytime you make a purchase, it gets credited to your school, the school of your choice. Whoever you'd like it credited to is who we credit it to. At the end of the year, the school with the highest total is the winner. And what does that win get you? Well, 80% of the homeschool games for girls volleyball, basketball, and softball are on W7. That means at least 80% of the games on your team's schedule is going to be on W7 for girls volleyball, basketball, and softball. I mean, that's enormous. And I can tell you right now, I mean, Germantown has benefited from this, not just having live streaming, but if you watched our volleyball games, we have kids now that come and do broadcasts with us. We have kids that hang around the broadcast and just help us out and do different things. They're getting chances to speak in public. They're getting chances to really be in kind of a professional setting and get that kind of experience that you can't get when you breeze in for one game and breeze out. But when you're there all the time like we are, those kids know us. They expect us. We have relationships with them, and that's just part of being the homeschool. There's a lot of advantages beyond live streaming. The promoting of the kids, if you've seen what we've done with Germantown, with Mishicot, with Slinger, with Brookfield Central, we promote those schools a ton. In fact, I get told all the time, why is it always all about Germantown? Why is it always about Mishicot? Most times it's the Germantown kids saying, why is it about Mishicot? The Mishicot kids saying, why is it about Germantown? But we get it from all over the place. But that's our home school. That's who supported us, so that's who we support. So there's every opportunity for any school to win this. It's wide open right now. Let me give you the standings as they stand as of this moment. So right now, guess who is in first place? Germantown at $4,853. Guys, that's not a huge number. I mean, $4,800 is not an enormous number. Random Lake is second at $4,800. The Rams sneaking in second place. Mishicot third, and a new one, Catholic Central, in fourth. Waukesha North in fifth, and Manitowoc Lincoln in sixth place. So again, I would say sponsorships count, documentaries count, buying game video counts, straight donations count. All of those count towards this total. And again, I've said this every year. The school that decides, hey, we want to get an organized campaign going, let's pull in the softball teams, let's pull in the basketball team and the volleyball team into a room and talk about this. If you want, I'll come out and talk to them. I'll come out and make our pitch and tell you what we do and who we are. I'll help you come and sell this to your school if that would help. So I've done this before. I'm happy to do it. Always happy to explain our homeschool program, how that works, and how you guys can benefit from it. Guys, anything to add?
The basketball, the Badger game.
Yeah, I talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't mention it just now for them to know that.
That can be a part of it as well. Yes.
Right, you're right. The Badger game on December 12th, the W7 Girls Basketball Day, that is, if you buy it, any amount of tickets you buy is going to count towards your school. So if your program says, hey, let's buy 50 tickets for 50 kids to come and watch the Badgers play, that's $1,000 that counts towards the homeschool contest.
Get your youth programs involved.
Absolutely.
Get your youth families involved. Get as many as you can in that way because they want to be a part of it. Get your youth kids involved because the high school kids are their heroes.
Yes.
And as they see them, they want to be a part of that. They want to, if they can have a chance to spend time with them at, say, the Badger game. It's immeasurable.
It's a great point. I mean, you talk about being their hero. It's just, I mean, part of being connected with Mishicot, one of the younger kids on the softball side asked for one of the state champions from this past year's team. It was like her idol, and that was the only person she wanted at her birthday party. So, kid came back from college and surprised her at the birthday party. And, you would have thought it was like Michael Jordan.
It was a rock star coming in.
Yeah, like walking in. Like, that's all, give the kid a T-shirt that says, this university softball. And it is just incredible, the impact that the high school kids have on the youth and the youth have on the older kids. And it benefits everybody.
Absolutely.
And the T-shirt's limited edition.
Limited edition. Limited. We only have so many.
I think Tom Cruise is going to sign the.
We're working on getting an endorsement with Tom Cruise.
But that's C-R-U-Z.
We didn't say the actor Tom Cruise. We just said
Tom Cruise.
Going to raffle that one off.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break and come back and start talking W7 Northern Lights. You're watching the Ultimate Team Camps Girls Basketball Schedule Reveal Show, and you're watching it live on W7.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt.
Course 752, turning downwind at 2 miles. Continue upwind and receiving 6 miles past downwind. Okay, 752, I've got you in a second. We are on final approach.
Thank you and enjoy your flight.